What if I told you the most powerful force shaping your life is something you've been using wrong every single day? Not your job, not your luck, not even your intelligence. It's the voice you hear when no one else is listening. Right now, your subconscious mind is taking orders and it never questions them, ever. It turns your thoughts into habits, your habits into destiny. And whether you believe it or not, it's been working 24 hours a day since the moment you were born. The real question is this: are you programming it for success? Or has it been quietly sabotaging your life? In this audiobook, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, you'll discover how a simple shift in thought can unlock health, wealth, confidence, and a life that finally works for you. Stay with me. What you're about to hear could change everything.
Hello, everyone. Hi, all. It is so fantastic to have you with us. Welcome to Book Podcast Zone. Today, we are diving into something that it feels a little like magic on the surface, but it acts a lot like science underneath. I'm Emma, and I guess I'm the curious learner here. I'm always the one asking, why do we do the things we do? And frankly, I am so ready to figure this one out, and this topic is, well, it's fascinating.
And hello from me. I'm John, and I'll be the analyzer for our deep dive today. My job is to take these big, sometimes really abstract concepts and, connect the dots between what's happening in the mind and what's happening in our actual everyday reality. Hopefully we can all walk away with something concrete.
And today is a massive one. I mean, this is a biggie. We're breaking down Joseph Murphy's absolute classic, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This book has been around for decades, right? But it feels like people are just now rediscovering it. Or maybe we're just, I don't know, maybe we just need it more in the modern world.
It really is a foundational text.
Right.
It sits in that unique space, bridging the gap between psychology and, for lack of a better word, spirituality, in a way that very few books manage to do so clearly.
Maybe.
So the mission for this session is to really explore the 20 chapters of this book. Murphy's core argument, his whole premise, is that your mind is essentially a treasure house. And our goal today is to give you the keys to unlock it.
I love that image, a treasure house. It sounds so much better than, a dusty attic full of anxieties, which is what my mind usually feels like on a Monday morning. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into part one, which really covers the basics of the machine. Chapter one is literally titled The Treasure House Within You.
Right. And he starts with a very, very bold premise. He says that every human being has this infinite wisdom and infinite power already inside them. But, and this is the huge catch, most of us are walking around looking outside for wealth or success or happiness. We're looking for that external validation, that external thing to save us.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately. When he says treasure house, he's not talking about, finding a literal chest of gold coins in your chest cavity. What does he actually mean by this infinite stuff? That's a big word.
It is a big word. And no, not physical wealth, at least not initially. He's talking about a mental reserve, a reservoir of potential. The analysis here is that the subconscious is a mechanism that is always listening. It is completely non-judgmental. It doesn't debate with you. It doesn't argue. It doesn't question your logic. It simply responds to your dominant thoughts and feelings.
So it's like a computer.
Imagine a really, really high-end computer. It doesn't care if you're typing a masterpiece novel or just a string of complete gibberish. It just processes the keystrokes. That's its only job.
So it's like a tape recorder that never ever stops recording.
Even more active than that. It's not just recording, it's a manufacturing plant that takes a recording and builds it into your reality. It takes the blueprint and starts construction.
Okay, let's ground this. Let's use a real-world example. You mentioned the freelancer in New York City.
Yes, let's flesh that out.
Yeah.
Imagine a freelance graphic designer living in Brooklyn. You know the type, incredibly talented, works really hard, but is constantly dealing with that intense New York pressure. The high rent, the competition.
I can picture it perfectly. The noise, the hustle, the feeling of being this tiny fish in a massive, overwhelming pond.
Exactly. And their internal monologue, the voice they hear when no one else is listening, is constantly going, I'll never afford a better apartment. I'm just scraping by. This client is going to be difficult. The economy's so tough. They're just looping this narrative of struggle.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that loop. It feels like you're just being realistic, right? You're not being negative. You're just looking at the facts.
That is the ultimate trap. They think they're being realistic, but according to Murphy, that freelancer is actively, tangibly programming their treasure house to produce lack. The subconscious hears the order. I can't afford this. It's a struggle. And it says, okay, message received. I will now make sure you don't notice the opportunities that would help you afford it. I'll make sure you feel tired so you don't take on that extra project.
So it literally creates a blind spot based on what you tell it. It filters your reality.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It filters out the solutions because you've already told it they don't exist for you. Conversely, if that same person, despite their current bank balance, starts claiming, I am successful, opportunities flow to me easily, I have something valuable to offer this city, they are signaling the mind to scan the environment for success. It completely changes the filter.
So what you impress on the subconscious becomes your reality. It's not just wishful thinking, it's giving an instruction.
Exactly, it's command code, and the subconscious is the most powerful, obedient servant you could ever imagine.
That is a seriously powerful start to a book. And a great reminder for everyone listening, if this is resonating with you, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. You're helping us get these ideas out there.
Okay, this naturally leads us into the mechanics of it all in Chapter 2, which is called How Your Mind Works. And this chapter creates the framework for everything else in the book. If you get this chapter, you get the whole system. Murphy sets up this essential dichotomy. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Understanding the relationship between these two is the whole ballgame.
He uses some really great metaphors here. The conscious mind is the captain of the ship, right?
Yes, the conscious mind is the captain. It's the reasoner, the part of you that makes choices. It stands on the bridge, looks at the map, looks at the horizon, and gives the orders.
And the subconscious mind.
The subconscious mind is the crew in the engine room. Or, his other metaphor, it's the soil in the garden. Now think about that crew. They're all down below deck. They can't see the ocean. They have no idea if the ship is heading toward a beautiful tropical island or a giant iceberg.
They just follow orders. Blindly.
They just follow the captain's orders. If the captain says full speed ahead, they throw more coal in the furnace. If the captain frantically yells, reverse engines, hard to port, they reverse the engines. They don't argue. They don't form a committee. They just execute.
So if I'm the captain, my conscious mind, and I'm constantly screaming, we're gonna crash, we're all doomed.
The crew prepares for a crash. They start executing the crash protocol. This is why our internal self-talk is so unbelievably powerful and, frankly, so dangerous. If you say, I'm going to fail this presentation, your subconscious crew says, aye, aye, Captain, let's get to work. Let's dry out the mouth. Let's make the hands shake. Let's fog up the memory so you can't recall your key points.
That is actually kind of terrifying when you put it like that. It feels like you have this powerful force inside you that could be working against you without you even knowing it. So let's talk about the other metaphor, the garden. The subconscious is the soil.
Yes, and the soil doesn't care what you plant. It is completely neutral. You can plant poison ivy, or you can plant the most beautiful roses. The soil just provides the nutrients and the energy for whatever seed it's given. It will grow poison with the same enthusiasm it grows food.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because Murphy emphasizes that it's not just the casual thoughts that get planted. It's the thoughts that are fueled by emotion.
Right. Emotion is the fertilizer. A casual thought is like a seed thrown on dry concrete. A thought supercharged with feeling, fear, love, anger, joy is a seed planted in the richest, most fertile soil with a gallon of Miracle-Gro poured on top.
Let's ground this again. Think about a driver in Los Angeles traffic. I mean, we've all been there, or in some version of it. You're on the 405. It's a complete parking lot. It's 95 degrees out.
Oh, I can feel my blood pressure rising just thinking about it.
Exactly. That feeling is the key.
Perfect example. If that driver is sitting there, gripping the steering wheel, knuckles white, blood pressure through the roof, emotionally raging and thinking, I am always late, traffic hates me, this city is a prison, they're doing two critical things. One, they're physically flooding their body with stress hormones like cortisol, which is terrible for their health. But two, and this is Murphy's point, they are emotionally impressing the subconscious with the idea of struggle and lateness and being trapped.
So the subconscious effectively says, oh, you feel really strongly about being late. You feel really strongly about struggle. Let's make that a recurring theme. Let's make that a habit.
Precisely. It reinforces the stress pattern. It literally wires the brain to find more things to be stressed about. Whereas if they sat back, took a breath, maybe used that time to listen to a podcast like this one, and consciously chose to remain calm, the soil would grow a totally different crop. They would be telling their subconscious, I am at peace, even in the middle of chaos.
It's incredible. It takes the victimhood right out of the equation. You are the captain, even if the seas are rough. Again, if this is clicking for you, please do like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Every bit helps. Let's move on to Chapter 3, the miracle working power of your subconscious.
This is where Murphy starts to pivot from the subconscious as just a habit machine to the subconscious as a genuine problem solver and a healer. This is where it gets really interesting.
I found this part so fascinating. The idea that it does its best work when the conscious mind is off duty. because we're so trained to believe we have to grind and hustle to solve problems.
It's the concept of the night shift. When you go to sleep, or when you're in a deep state of meditation or relaxation, your conscious mind, the noisy critical captain, finally takes a nap. But the crew is still working. The boilers are still running. The ship is still moving.
Murphy talks about the technique of relax and affirm. What does he mean by that?
It means stop struggling. Stop forcing it.
Hmm.
We so often try to force a solution with our conscious brain. We worry, we analyze, we make pro and con lists, we overthink it until our head hurts. We're just grinding the gears. Murphy suggests that if you can relax and just hand the request over to the subconscious, it can access data, memories, and connections that your conscious mind is too busy or too stressed to notice.
But isn't that just lazy? I mean, it feels so counterintuitive. Don't think about it, just let it happen. That goes against everything we're taught.
It feels incredibly counterintuitive, I know. But think about a simple, common experience. You lose your keys,
Yeah.
you know they're in the house somewhere, you tear the place apart, you get more and more frustrated, you're looking in the same place over and over again, you can't find them.
Right, and the more you look, the less you see.
Exactly. Then you finally give up, you say forget it, and you sit on the couch to watch TV or make a cup of tea. 10 minutes later, what happens?
Pop, the image just appears in your head. They're in your coat pocket from yesterday.
Pop. Exactly. Why? Because you stopped jamming the signal with your conscious frustration. You relaxed. The subconscious, which knew where they were all along, could finally get a word in edgewise. Murphy shares all these stories, some of them quite dramatic, of people overcoming illness or solving complex business problems simply by trusting this inner mind to do the repair work without the conscious interference of fear and doubt.
So it's really about getting out of your own way.
That's the key to this whole chapter. Trust in the machine to run the program you gave it.
Wow. Okay. Just a quick reminder to everyone, if you're finding this useful, please do like, subscribe, and share. It helps us keep making these deep dives. All right, let's head into part 2 now, which covers healing and history. This is where he really builds his case. Chapter 4 is mental healing in ancient times.
This is such an important piece of context because Murphy wants to make it very clear that this isn't some new age fad that he just invented in the 1960s. This is ancient wisdom. He looks back at ancient Egypt, Greece, and at various stories from biblical times.
Right. He talks about people going to temples, drinking strange potions, touching sacred shrines, sleeping on the graves of saints, all these different rituals.
And getting healed. That's the wild part. The historical records show that these things produced cures. People were getting better. But Murphy argues, and this is the critical analysis, it wasn't the lizard potion from the priestess or the specific shrine in Greece that did the healing. It wasn't the external object at all.
So the bone of the saint didn't actually have any magic power in it.
Exactly. It was the patient's profound faith and the power of suggestion that acted as a trigger to tap into the healing power of their own subconscious. The ritual was just a permission slip.
A permission slip. I like that. So different cultures have different rituals, but the engine under the hood is exactly the same.
Precisely. The universal healer is the human mind. The ritual is just what the conscious mind needs to believe in, so it can get out of the way and let the subconscious do its job. If you believe with all your heart that the water from this spring will heal you, your subconscious receives that belief as a command and releases the body's own powerful healing chemistry.
That makes so much sense. It explains why so many different, even contradictory methods can work for different people. It's about what you believe. All right, before we move on, a quick thank you to everyone who has already liked and subscribed. It means the world. Chapter 5 brings this idea forward into our time, mental healing in modern times.
Right. He bridges the gap from the ancient world to the present day. He talks about how modern doctors and psychologists use what he calls prayer-like affirmations, even if they don't call them that.
And this is where we see the placebo effect, right? I feel like that is the most concrete, scientific proof we have of this entire concept.
It is the ultimate scientific validation of Murphy's theory. Think about it. In a double-blind clinical trial, if you give a group of people a simple sugar pill, but you tell them it's a powerful new medicine, a significant portion of them will get better. Their body often produces the exact chemical response of the actual medicine.
Their pain goes away. Their blood pressure lowers.
Exactly. Their body releases its own natural painkillers. Why? The pill itself is totally inert. It has no power. The power came from the mind.
Because the mind ordered the body to change. It believed it was receiving help, so it produced the result.
Precisely. Let's look at a modern US-based example. Imagine a patient in a major hospital, say in Chicago, recovering from a major surgery.
Okay, 2 of them. Same surgery, same doctor.
Perfect. 2 patients side by side. Same surgery, same excellent surgeon, same physical condition going in.
Yeah.
Patient A is terrified. They're scrolling through their phone, reading stats about complications. They're doubting the surgeon's skill. They're calling their relatives saying, I don't think I'm going to make it through this.
They are feeding that failure and danger program directly into their subconscious.
Correct. And their body responds with tension, inflammation, and stress. Patient B, on the other hand, has absolute conviction in their surgeon and in their own body's ability to heal. They're visualizing themselves walking out of the hospital, going home to their family. They're joking with the nurses. Murphy and a growing body of modern medical studies would argue that patient B will recover significantly faster.
Because the fear in the first patient is signaling danger and breakdown to the subconscious, while the second patient is signaling repair and wholeness.
That's it. Your belief becomes your biology.
Wow. It puts so much responsibility on us as patients, but it's also incredibly empowering. Again, if this is helping you see things in a new way, we'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share. Let's keep this conversation growing. Chapter 6 then gets really practical. It's called Practical Techniques in Mental Healings.
Yes, this is the how-to section. Theory is great, but what do you actually do? Murphy gives us 3 big actionable techniques here.
Okay, let's list them and break them down. First up is visualization. This is a huge buzzword now, but what did he mean by it?
For him, it meant seeing the end result as clearly and vividly as possible. It's not just thinking, I want to be healthy. It's about creating a mental scene. Seeing yourself running on the beach, laughing with your family, feeling the cool wind on your face, feeling the strength in your legs. It has to be sensory. You are showing the subconscious a detailed blueprint of the finished product.
So it's not a wish, it's a preview.
Okay.
Okay, second is scientific prayer.
Now, he uses the word prayer, but it's important to note, you don't have to be religious for this to work. This is about affirming health as a present fact, not a future desire. It's not saying, I hope I get better one day, because hope implies you don't have it yet. It's about stating, with feeling, I am whole, perfect, strong, and healthy now.
You're closing the gap in your mind between the desire and the reality. Okay? And the third one, the sleep method.
We touched on this, but he's very specific here. It's about passing your desired thought to the subconscious right before you doze off. That magical, drowsy state when you're half awake and half asleep. That's the moment when the conscious mind, the critical captain, the doubter, is barely awake. The door to the subconscious engine room is wide open.
So this is why doom scrolling the news right before bed is such a terrible idea.
It is the absolute worst thing you can do. You are pouring poison and anxiety directly into the well right before you shut down for the night. You should use that precious time to feed the crew good, clear, positive instructions for their night shift.
And it comes back to conviction, right? Not just parroting empty words.
Absolutely. Rote repetition means nothing if you don't feel it to be true. The subconscious responds to feeling, not just words.
Got it. Okay, quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share for more updates like this. We are now finishing up this section with Chapter 7. The tendency of the subconscious is lifeward.
This is such a reassuring and optimistic chapter. Murphy's core argument here is that the factory setting of your mind, your entire being, is life. It's programmed for health and growth.
So we aren't naturally wired to be miserable. Because, I mean, sometimes it really feels like the human brain just loves misery and anxiety.
It feels that way because of our habits and our programming, but no, biologically, that's not our default. The subconscious wants you to be whole, healthy, and alive. Think about it. If you accidentally cut your finger while you're chopping vegetables, do you have to sit there and concentrate and tell your cells how to form a clot and build new skin?
No, thankfully, it just happens automatically.
Right. Your subconscious orchestrates that entire complex healing process. The clotting, the white blood cells rushing to the scene, the generation of new skin tissue, everything. It always moves toward life. It doesn't try to make the cut infected. Its sole focus is to heal it.
So illness and misery, in his view, are actually us fighting against our own natural current.
Exactly. He describes negative thoughts, fears, and resentments as debris rocks and logs blocking a beautiful, powerful river. The river naturally wants to flow to the great ocean of health. You just have to remove the blocks you've put in its way.
That is a huge perspective shift. You don't have to create health, you just have to stop blocking it. Once again, if this is resonating, please like, subscribe, and share. Now let's get to the part I know a lot of listeners are really waiting for, Part 3, Wealth and Success. Chapter 8 is titled, How to Get the Results You Want.
Right. And here he really doubles down on two key ingredients, specificity and faith. He introduces what he calls the mental movie method.
I love this one. The idea that you have to imagine the goal is already achieved. But he gives a really important warning here, the idea of trying too hard. That seems contradictory.
It does. It goes against everything we're taught in American culture especially. Hustle, grind, push, force the door open, no pain, no gain.
Right. If you aren't suffering and stressed out, you clearly aren't working hard enough.
But Murphy says that effort, that kind of mental straining, actually implies resistance. If you feel like you're straining to make something happen, it implies you don't really believe it will happen unless you force it. It implies doubt. He says the key is to trust it, to feel the reality of it, and let go.
Let's use a classic example. A struggling actor in Hollywood. This is the perfect testing ground for this idea.
Okay. So normally, that actor is worrying constantly about their next audition. They're thinking about rejection. They can smell the desperation and anxiety in the waiting room. Murphy would say, stop, go home, sit down in a quiet room, and run a mental movie. But, and this is key, visualize the end result.
So not the audition itself, not picturing yourself nailing the lines.
No, because that still has an element of chance. Visualize the success after the audition. Visualize your agent calling you and hear their specific voice saying, you got the part. Visualize yourself shaking hands with the director. Feel the texture of the paper of the contract in your hands. Smell the coffee in the production office while you sign it.
It has to be completely sensory. You have to live it in your mind first.
It has to be real in the mind before it can become real in the world. If you can make it feel real inside, the subconscious will then begin to navigate you to the right agent, the right audition, the right conversation that makes it a reality.
This is so powerful. And a quick reminder to everyone, if you agree, please do like, subscribe, and share for more updates. This leads perfectly into Chapter 9, how to use the power of your subconscious for wealth.
The core concept here is simple but profound. Wealth is a mindset before it is ever a number in a bank account.
He talks about the danger of criticizing money or feeling envious of wealthy people, which I think is a massive, massive block for so many of us.
It's a huge trap. It's so common. You're driving and you see someone in a very expensive car, and the automatic thought is, oh, look at that jerk. They probably did something dishonest to get that. Filthy rich. Money is the root of all evil. When you do that, you are sending a very powerful, emotionally charged message to your subconscious. You're saying money is bad.
And since your subconscious has a primary directive to protect you.
Exactly. Your subconscious loves you. It's your loyal servant. It says, okay, the boss says money is bad and makes people into jerks. My job is to protect the boss. So I will make sure the boss never gets any of that bad stuff. It repels it from your experience.
Huh. So you're literally pushing away the very thing you think you want just by being envious of it.
Precisely. You must affirm abundance. You have to feel that wealth is good, that it's a tool for freedom and helping others. You have to be friends with the idea of wealth.
Friendship with wealth. I like that. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, everyone. Chapter 10 is titled, Your Right to Be Rich. And this is a bold statement.
Yeah, I love the boldness of this chapter. He directly confronts and debunks the poverty is noble myth, the idea that there's some kind of virtue in lack.
There is so much cultural and even, religious baggage around that idea, the idea that suffering makes you a better, more holy person.
Huge amounts of baggage. Murphy argues that everyone has a divine right to abundance, to live a full and happy life. He even calls poverty a mental condition or a mental disease.
That's incredibly provocative. I can see how some people might find that offensive, especially if they're struggling.
It is provocative, and it's meant to be. But he's suggesting a radical shift in perspective. He's not saying you should be greedy or materialistic. He's saying you should view money as a tool for good, for generosity, for freedom to express your talents.
Let's use an example. A small business owner, maybe somewhere in Texas. They run a local hardware store. They're working hard but struggling, and they feel guilty about wanting to raise prices or make more of a profit.
Murphy would say, shift that entire perspective. If you make more profit, you can hire more local people from your town. You can afford to sponsor the high school football team's new uniforms. You can provide a better life for your family and send your kids to college. By realizing that money expands your ability to do good in the world, you shift your entire feeling about it, from guilt to gratitude.
And when you do that, you stop blocking the flow.
And the subconscious opens the floodgates, because now wealth equals helping my community, which is a positive, life-affirming command.
That is a complete game changer. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Chapter 11 flows right from this. Your subconscious mind as a partner in success.
This is all about reframing your relationship with your own mind. It's the ultimate business partnership.
So you treat the subconscious like a silent partner, the one who does all the work behind the scenes.
Yes. In a good business partnership, you delegate. You don't micromanage. You, the conscious mind, are the CEO. Your job is to set the vision. You feed the subconscious the end goal, success, growth, expansion, and then you let your partner, the subconscious, figure out the how.
And we get so hung up on the how, don't we? How am I going to get the loan? How will I find the right clients? I just don't see a path from here to there.
And that worry and that need to control the how just freezes us, Murphy says. Your job is to define the what, the end result. Feel it as real. Then let your silent partner handle the logistics. The subconscious will then give you the nudge to call the right person, or it will pop an idea into your head while you're in the shower.
You have to trust your partner. It's a relationship. Okay, a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 12. Scientists use the subconscious mind. This is great because it appeals to the logical part of our brains.
Exactly. It's to show that this isn't just for artists or mystics. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came this way. Genius is often just the subconscious speaking clearly.
He mentions some real heavy hitters like Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein.
Right. They famously had some of their biggest breakthroughs while they were napping or daydreaming or in a relaxed state. The eureka moment rarely happens when you are staring at a spreadsheet and screaming at it. It happens when you step away.
It's always the story of Archimedes in the bathtub, right? The moment of insight.
Exactly. But let's bring it to a modern context. Picture a software developer in Seattle, working for one of the big tech giants. She's been trying to crack a specific nasty bug in a piece of code. She has been staring at her monitor for 10 hours straight. She's on her 5th cup of coffee. She's stressed. She's frustrated.
A conscious mind is redlining, it's overheating, the captain is shouting nonsense at the crew.
Correct. The harder she tries, the less she sees. So finally, she gives up for the day. She closes the laptop and goes for a hike in the Cascade Mountains nearby. She's walking through the trees, smelling the pine, not consciously thinking about the code at all. And then, strictly out of nowhere, the entire perfect block of code appears in her head. Perfect syntax. Flawless logic. Why? Because when her conscious mind finally shut up and focused on the trees, the subconscious mind, which had been crunching all that data in the background the whole time, could finally slide the answer under the door.
So the lesson here isn't always work harder. It's almost trust the background process. Know when to step away.
It's about knowing when to hand off the assignment to your brilliant partner.
Love that. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Chapter 13 wraps up this section. Your subconscious and the wonders of sleep.
We've touched on sleep a few times, but this chapter is entirely dedicated to it. His point is that sleep is not just rest. It is active work time for the mind.
The subconscious never sleeps.
Never. It's managing your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, and your cellular repair all night long. And he says it's also processing the problems of your day.
So the strategy is to consciously give it an assignment before you clock out.
Yes, exactly. Before you go to bed, you explicitly ask for a solution. You can say, my subconscious mind knows the perfect solution to this business problem, and it will reveal it to me. You turn the problem over to the night shift. And very often, you wake up in the morning with the answer or with a new sense of clarity.
I am definitely going to try that tonight. I have a big decision to make about a project, and I'm just going to let the crew figure it out. Okay, one more reminder to please like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying this deep dive. Now we're moving into part 4, relationships and emotional freedom. This gets very personal. Chapter 14, your subconscious mind and marital problems.
Yes, and this is where it can get uncomfortable for people because his core idea is that our primary relationships are often mirrors of our own mind.
Murphy says that issues in a marriage often stem from internal fears and resentments that we project onto our partner. And that is a really hard pill to swallow. We always want it to be the other person's fault.
It's so much easier to blame, isn't it? But his logic is this. If you have a deep-seated insecurity, you might interpret a completely neutral comment from your spouse as a vicious attack. You are projecting your fear onto their words. If you have a core belief that you will be abandoned, you will see evidence of betrayal where there is none.
So the solution isn't to try and nag or force your partner to change their behavior.
According to Murphy, you can't fix a marriage by nagging. It's never worked. You fix it by changing your internal concept of your partner and the relationship. You begin to affirm harmony, love, and mutual respect. If you change the thoughts and feelings you are broadcasting, the dynamic of the relationship has to change in response. You stop writing the script for an argument.
You're changing your part of the dance, so they have to change their steps. Powerful stuff. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Chapter 15 is your subconscious mind and your happiness.
This is another tough one for some people to hear, but Murphy is absolutely insistent on this point. Happiness is a choice, and it is a habit.
It's not about waiting for all your external circumstances to be perfect before you allow yourself to be happy.
Absolutely not. If you wait for the economy to be perfect, the weather to be perfect, and the news to be perfect, you will live and die without ever being happy. He says you can program happiness just like you program walking or driving. You practice it.
So you actively choose to focus on gratitude and joy, regardless of what's happening outside of you.
Exactly. You wake up and you decide, today I choose happiness. And then your subconscious works to find reason to justify that feeling. It starts scanning your life for all the good stuff that you normally overlook. An internal first approach.
It's an active practice. Got it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 16, your subconscious mind and harmonious human relations.
This brings in the golden rule, but he frames it as a mental law, not just a moral suggestion.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
But he applies it specifically to our thoughts. What you think about other people, you are actually creating in your own experience of them.
So if I think my boss is a tyrant,
Your subconscious will act like a filter, and it will highlight every single tyrannical thing he does. It will ignore anything kind or fair. And you, in turn, will behave defensively or resentfully around him, which then makes him treat you worse. It becomes a vicious, self-fulfilling prophecy. You are co-creating the tyranny.
let's take an example. An office worker in a high-stress corporate job in Atlanta. The office culture is toxic. Everyone is gossiping, tension is high, everyone secretly hates the manager.
Okay, if this worker joins in on the gossip and the complaining, they're just feeding the beast. They're strengthening that negative energy field. But if instead they privately, mentally affirm success and peace and goodwill for their difficult coworkers, if they actually wish them well, it changes their own energy.
That is so hard to do, though, to genuinely wish well on someone who is actively annoying you.
It's one of the hardest mental disciplines there is. But Murphy argues that when you do it, the tension will break. Either those coworkers will start treating you differently, or you will be moved to a better department or find a better job. You cannot attract a peaceful experience by constantly thinking thoughts of war and conflict.
That is really powerful. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. This leads us to Chapter 17, How to Use Your Subconscious Mind for Forgiveness.
This connects directly to the relationship piece. His main point is that grudges are a form of self-poisoning.
Right. We often think we are punishing the other person by staying mad at them. We think, I'll show them, I will never forgive them for what they did.
But that other person is out playing golf or sleeping soundly at night. They might not even know you're still mad. You are the one carrying that toxic lump of coal in your gut. As the saying goes, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It rots your own treasure house.
So how do we fix it? What's the technique?
You mentally bless the person. You affirm peace and harmony for them, and you release them. You let them go. And here is the absolute kicker. Forgiveness is a fundamentally selfish act. It's not for them. It frees you. It cleans out your own garden so you can finally grow roses again instead of thorns and weeds.
I love that perspective. It's not about whether they deserve it. It's about the fact that you deserve peace. Okay, we are in the home stretch now, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us. Please do like, subscribe, and share. Part 5 is all about removing blocks and looking forward. Chapter 18 is how your subconscious removes mental blocks.
This is all about breaking stubborn habits and deep-seated fears. Phobias.
How do we tackle those? They feel so ingrained.
Murphy's main technique is to use a simple, powerful counter-affirmation. Something like, I am free from this habit. I am at peace. It's about scrubbing the mental hard drive of the old, corrupted files.
Let's think about public speaking. That is famously the #1 fear for so many people in the U.S., even more than death.
A huge, huge fear. Murphy would say the mental block is the core belief that they will judge me and I will fail. You have to consciously and deliberately reprogram that. You sit quietly before the event and you visualize the audience as friendly and supportive. You affirm that you have something valuable to share with them. You reframe the mental image from a hostile mob into a group of friends waiting to hear good news. You have to change the story before you step on the stage.
You're pre-paving the experience. Makes sense. A quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share. Chapter 19, How to Stay Young in Spirit Forever.
This is so relevant for everyone, no matter your age. His core idea is that chronological age is a fact, but the feeling of being old is a mental construct.
The subconscious doesn't get wrinkles.
The subconscious is timeless. It doesn't age. Murphy says that if you stop learning, stop dreaming, stop being curious, and start telling yourself and everyone else, I'm old, then your body and mind begin to wither in response to that command.
So retirement shouldn't be seen as the end of your productive life.
Absolutely not. It should be a new venture. He says affirming vitality, enthusiasm, and a passion for new learning is what keeps the spirit young. It keeps that life force flowing through you. You see it all the time. People who retire from their job and they have nothing else to live for and they pass away 2 years later. They told their subconscious, I'm done, and it obeyed.
That's tragic, but it makes a lot of sense. We have to keep the mission alive, whatever that mission is. Okay, almost there. Please do like, subscribe, and share. Finally, we arrive at Chapter 20, Your Subconscious Mind and Infinite Life.
This is the spiritual culmination of the entire book. He ties everything together.
He connects the subconscious to something bigger than just ourselves.
Yes. He calls it infinite intelligence, or God, or the universe, or the life principle. The name doesn't matter. The idea is that your subconscious mind is your personal link to this divine creative intelligence.
So we aren't just isolated little islands struggling on our own.
No. His final message is that by aligning your conscious thoughts with this higher source, with thoughts of peace, love, and abundance, you tap into a universal power. It brings a sense of oneness, guidance, and protection. The final ultimate message is that you are never alone. The power is, and always has been, right there within you.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Wow, what a journey. We have covered all 20 chapters of this incredible book.
It really is a comprehensive user manual for the human mind. And if we have to boil it all down to one big idea, one central theme, it's this. You are the gardener. Your thoughts are the seeds. Your subconscious mind is the fertile soil that will grow whatever you plant.
It's so empowering, but it's also a profound responsibility. It means we can't really blame our luck or our circumstances anymore, can we?
We can't. It's a wonderful and sometimes terrifying responsibility to know that you are the one in charge of the garden.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. We've talked a lot today about what you want to plant in your mind. The roses, the seeds of success, health, and happiness. But ask yourself this. If your subconscious mind records everything, what have you accidentally planted today that you need to dig up before it takes root? That casual negative comment you made about your finances, that flash of anger in traffic, that moment of envy scrolling through social media, the garden doesn't sleep. So be careful what you leave in the soil. Thanks for listening, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.